Welcome to the second edition of the Panther Homework Challenge podcast. I'm your host, Daddy Mallory. This is your other host, because she got mad at me for saying co-host.
Ari.
And our special guest today,
Michelle.
She stepped on my toes there. And what is our podcast about today?
The Western Movement.
You sound like a cow.
So, what is some of your facts?
Louisiana Purchase in 1830.
1803.
Whoops. President Thomas Jefferson buys the Louisiana Territory from France for $15 million. This doubles the size of the United States and provides a large area to the west of the country for expansion. Explorers Lewis and Clark mapped out areas of the purchase and eventually reached the Pacific Ocean.
In what year?
1805.
Right. So do we know how long the Lewis and Clark expedition lasted?
2 years.
Right. It took 2 years to get all the way over there to all the way over here. And so one of the things that happened is they had started, when they got in our area, the greater area, they were camping on the north side of the Columbia River. Do you know what the north side of the Columbia River is?
No.
All right. The north side of the Columbia River is what is now Washington. The south side of the Columbia River is what is now Oregon. So, at one point, they had a really rough winter in Washington, what is now Washington, and they decided with a vote that they wanted to go south. And they let everybody in their team of 29 people that was with them vote. And do you know where they ended up?
Where?
What is in the area, what is now Astoria, Oregon. What else do you know that's famous from Astoria, Oregon? I know the two of you love.
In Astoria.
Hey,
you guys.
Goonies!
Yes.
Goonies is very famous.
I love that movie.
Yes.
It's my favorite movie. 1841. Oregon Trail.
Just Oregon Trail.
People began to travel west in wagon trains.
In wagon trails.
On the Oregon Trail. Around 300,000 people on the Oregon Trail around
Around 300,000 people.
People would take the trail over the next 20 years.
All right. So, when we were in school, probably around your age, we used to play this game called the Oregon Trail. It was, back then, there was no phones or tablets or really good video games. So this was the highlight of your day at school. And you would play.
Was it so much fun? Sorry.
There's no way I could play the game now because it's very, very dated.
I played it on Facebook not 4 years ago. They had a Facebook version.
Wow.
It wasn't as educational.
Yes, this was an educational game.
Right. If you were lucky, you got 20 minutes along with 3 other people on different computers to go play.
And what is the number?
How did you guys play?
It's on a computer. We would play it on the computer in your computer labs.
Yeah, there was no mouse either, right?
No, there was no mouse.
Keyboard.
All keyboards.
Up, down, left, right, space bar.
Yeah. And when you wanted to shoot an animal.
So disgusted.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for you.
Yeah, and when you would want to hunt, you would have to wait till, because it would just have a point in the middle, and you would have to wait for an animal to come, and then you press the space bar.
Bam!
Yes.
But then some of the games you would type bang or wham or pow, but then if you spelled it wrong, then you lost points and you did not kill the animal. Which meant if you didn't kill the animals, then what?
You'll die.
You would die
Right.
of
Like
hunger.
Well, Right, you would starve to death.
Yes.
And then there's other things as you would get
Like your
dysentery from having
dysentery.
like animals that went bad. And dysentery is like a disease in the stomach from eating rotten food. So this was like a legit thing like you had to learn about because all of these people, you can only carry so much stuff on your wagons, right, Ryan?
And sometimes the wagons would break down, or sometimes you had to ford the
you ford the river!
The water, the rivers. Oh, those were the worst. And you're like, I'm gonna ford because you could ford the river, and
But
you
what
have
does that
all these
mean?
wagons, meaning you have to float the wagons across the river.
Because there's no bridges.
There's no bridges. So
There's no bridges to get there.
You get it, and then you have the horses, and then if you did really well, everyone would survive.
Ow.
But if
you-
not, you'd be like, you lost a wagon.
Right.
Yeah.
You died. You got bit by a rattlesnake.
Yeah.
You were
dead on this rattlesnake, yeah.
Oh, you were
Oregon
still 300 miles from Oregon.
In 1848, Gold Rush begins. James
James Marshall discovered gold at discovers gold at Sutter's Mill soon.
No, just Sutter's Mill. Soon, word gets out.
World gets out and people rush to California
to find.
to find gold.
All right, so there's some interesting things about Sutter's Mill. Your daddy and your grandpa river raft that river all the time. It's called the American River. It's in, I don't even know how to say this, and I'm from California. Coloma, California. Coloma, California. Yeah, I'm from California, and I've been on the river. And when we river raft it, there's two things interesting about it. You pass by this mill. Like, parts of the mill are still kind of left over. And
But it's like the wood part.
some of the woods parts, some of the things you want to see, and this is there's where they panned for gold there. So whenever we go river rafting it, we always get told that this is Sutter's Mill, where the gold rush started, expanded.
I can't wait to start,
And
so
Indiana,
I can start river rafting.
and Indiana Jones, and we start singing the song.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so then it's 1 year later after the gold was found. What happens here? 1849.
Around
90,000.
90,000
49ers. We'll tell you.
Niners.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? Move.
The 49ers?
Yeah, do you know what the 49ers are?
Yeah, the 49ers, like the football team.
Yeah.
They're named after that because it was 1849 when the gold rush started. So all of these people that started doing that was what the 49ers have been named after.
I was actually wondering what that
That's
is.
really
so
that's
you
really
guys
interesting.
actually
Okay,
just
so read it.
Moved to California to find gold.
That's how the 49ers came. That is something I just learned for the first time.
Wow.
Yeah. I
Really?
didn't know why the San Francisco called were the
For the
49ers.
first time in forever.
Let it go. Let it go.
1860, the Pony Express begins to deliver mail.
Now, why do you think that's important? So all these people moved west. All these families moved west, but they left some family members behind. So like some sons and daughters, older adults left their parents in Missouri and on the East Coast, and they traveled. Now, how are you going to get mail to them? They use little horses or ponies, so it was called the Pony Express. And it took about 10 days for the Pony Express. They stop in different stations each day, and it was like a relay section or thing where they go and they deliver them mail, so families could stay connected and business could be, communicate. This was the most direct means of east-west communication before the telegram came along. All right, so that was the second edition of Panther Homework Challenge, Western Movement Edition. Ari would like to send us off with a song. And I'm your host, Daddy Mowry. Your other host,
Ari Mowry!
and our special very guest,
Miss Shelley.
take us away.